Tonight on Prime Business, a call for a review of Ghana's oil production sharing agreement. We'll hear from my former Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana National Petroleum Commission Corporation, Dr. Amos Oforikwa.
For the sake of those people, I thought that something must be written for posterity. I think we should go back to the production sharing. We need to review, personally, I believe that we need to review the agreements and go back to the production sharing agreement.
Also, a digital currency researcher promotes the use of cryptocurrency in Ghana, saying the economy is ripe for its usage.
Very soon, all the world, we will stop using cash and everything will be virtual. So if we start using cryptocurrencies now, it will help the country. And because of the value of cryptocurrencies.
But is Ghana ready for cryptos? Well, we'll have a conversation on this topic. And later, we'll hear from Dean of the Law School, the University of Professional Studies in Accra, Professor Kofi Abuchi, who wants more transparency under the African Continental Free Trade Agreement.
It is, in any trading regime, what sustains the regime is a sense of fairness and transparency, a sense of members that they are gaining equally, and that there's egalitarian treatment of all members.
We have all these stories and more coming up shortly. We'll begin with commodities. Tonight, a former Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, Dr. Amos Oforikwa, is calling for a review of Ghana's oil production sharing agreement. According to him, the country's current contractual arrangement for petroleum exploration is a bane to the development of the sector and the economy at large. Take a listen.
At the launch of his book dubbed My Footprint in Ghana's Black Gold, Dr. Oforikwa unraveled the challenges the country went through before discovering oil in 2007. He explained that some of his colleagues met their untimely death in the quest to search for offshore oil. He appealed for a collaboration between stakeholders in the sector to review the oil production sharing agreement.
I wanted to write for the sake of those, and also our friends who passed away before our efforts yielded fruits in terms of discovery. For the sake of those people, I thought that something must be written for posterity. I think we should go back to the production sharing. We need to review, personally, I believe that we need to review the agreements and go back to the production sharing agreement, because what we're getting is simply not fair. For the effort that we put in, it's not fair. We could do a lot better.
He further indicated that the prospect for Ghana's oil production is still positive both onshore and offshore, hence the need to be resolute as a country with earth agreement in the sector.
We also looked at the Voltairean Basin. The Voltairean Basin stretches from about Nkoko all the way to Daboya. In the Daboya area, we have salt, which is usually associated with oil. And also, the Romanians drilled water wells back in the 1960s, and the water usually had oil floating on it. We haven't explored, well, GMPC has done some work in there. We need to follow it, because potentially we have onshore oil on the Voltairean Basin. We have potential for onshore oil as well.
In June 2007, GNPC, together with its partners in the Jubilee Field, Tallow Oil and Cosmos Energy, announced the discovery of oil offshore Ghana. Tallow Oil expressed that the oil discovered offshore Ghana is one of the biggest oil finds in Africa in recent times.
Now, a digital currency researcher is promoting the use of decentralized financial transactions such as cryptocurrency in Ghana. Dr. Ayitey Kuma believes that with the recent fluctuation in the Ghanaian economy, a digital means of transaction could stabilize the exacerbating economy. We have more in this report.
Recent Russian-Ukraine war has thrown many reviving economies around the globe into yet another brink of collapse. With the astronomical price increases in global commodities, a decentralized financial system is addict to revolutionize transactions and positively affect global economies, according to Dr. Ayitey Kuma. Speaking at a public lecture series by the Ghana Baptist University College, she explained Ghana's gradual transitioning into a digitalized economy provides a fertile ground for the cryptocurrency to be a legal tender.
Now, money is directed by software. So, the whole world economy is based on this global programmable money. So, very soon, all the world, we will stop using cash and everything will be virtual. So, if we start using cryptocurrencies now, it will help the country. And because of the value of cryptocurrencies, our country, we have the cedi is always depreciating against the dollar. So with these cryptocurrencies, now we don't have to deal with any fiat anymore. The value for all currencies in the world will be the same. So cryptocurrencies can help stabilize the Ghanaian economy.
The cryptocurrencies have long erupted debates on international platforms as emerging, accessible and useful financial tools. The digital currency researcher believes the adoption of a decentralized financial system could resuscitate and stabilize the country's economy. Despite its varied advantages, she forewarned the public against possible fraud.
People want to have cryptocurrency, and most of us don't understand how it works, how to even get it. So we have these scammers all around who are also taking people's money from them, causing problems in the system. So one of the disadvantages, lack of knowledge. We don't have knowledge about the whole cryptocurrency, how it works, how to get it, and how to even manage it if you have it as an asset. So I think there should be knowledge, a lot of lectures on cryptocurrency so that people will know and people will also be cautious.
The public lecture series was on the theme, The Future of Money, How Digital Revolution is Transforming Currencies. The lecture forms part of activities for the celebration of the GBUC 2022 week. For Joy News, Emmanuel Bright-Kweku reporting.
Let's still stay with the matter of crypto because we're joined by Dr. Edward Boahin, an IT consultant with the Xianhu University. Doc, we're grateful that you could join us. I believe you listened to the report there. Currently in Africa, we only have the Central African Republic, acknowledge cryptocurrency as a legal tender. Here in Ghana, we're having the Bank of Ghana warn that there isn't regulation on the use of cryptocurrency and that people do it or you can use it at their own risk. What's your thoughts when it comes to the debate about whether or not we are ready to implement cryptos? Kindly unmute so we can hear you better.
Thank you for this opportunity, Jonathan. I think it's high time we educate the masses on the subject crypto itself. And I had the interview with the professor and her research. But currently, if you ask me to speak on that issue, it's going to be on two matrices of evaluating the usage of crypto in terms of security, in terms of privacy, how the assurance behind it. And I'm telling you, from my research and background, it is still not as safe as other digital currencies that we are using in the country. I personally read through the research that she made of giving evidences of Kenya, Nigeria, and other African countries vying for the cryptocurrency. And Kenya per se has started using the digital currency since 2007. And so it can't be said that they there's an increase in demand of digital currency. Yes, there's an increase in demand of digital currency, but it's not only cryptocurrency that falls within the digital currency. Currently, we are using mobile money, which is also a digital currency. We are using Visa payment, which is also a digital currency. It's not we don't use it for physical payment. So it is, but actually, who will negotiate more than 10,000 CDs or cryptocurrency with someone that is not really assured? But the assurance and privacy is what is key when it comes to cryptocurrency. And we are still working on it, which is still not valid yet. And that is the basis on which BOG issues warning about cryptocurrency investment in our country.
Clearly explained there, but of course we also would want to, get the fundamentals right. The researcher rightly stated that the main challenge, as you've also equally pointed out, regarding the use of cryptos, not just in Ghana but the rest of the world, is that of trust and security. From your perspective, do you think that we have a blueprint for the execution of this on a larger scale? Because already the Bank of Ghana is considering, it has even rolled out an e-currency, which is a digital currency, not a cryptocurrency.
Yeah, so for instance, there's no, when it comes to cryptocurrency, there is no middle person or middle regulator who regulates the platform for cryptocurrency. It's just a direct peer-to-peer transaction. Hence, it is difficult for a third party to regulate between a crypto activity. Hence, that is where the privacy or the security aspect falls. And until we have a regulator who can regulate the activities within the crypto activity, it will make it difficult for the regulator to work. For instance, if I'm having a crypto activity between you and I, it is just a direct peer-to-peer transactions, and it doesn't have anywhere to track the transactions. It's just a public forum that regulates it. So there's no regulator. When I don't fulfill my part, you have nowhere to go. You just lost your transactions. And that is why you wake up in the morning with someone losing all his benefits in his or her wallet, because there's no regulator to say, okay, there was this transaction that went on, it is a genuine transaction, so pay back the person's missing funds. It just goes out. And those promoting cryptocurrency, there's this question I always ask them, on what matrices do they regulate it? You wake up in the morning and crypto is about $5.7. The next day, it has fallen to about 3.2. It doesn't have any regulator to regulate those matrices as to how it falls or how it rises. And that is where the privacy and security also fall. It is basically on intuitions or feelings of people working around the project. And when they tell you they are not into the project again, everything collapses. We cannot now, until today, point out to any crypto activity that has lasted for more than 5 to 7 years in the country.
Well,
and upon that basis,
I can point out Bitcoin. Of course, Bitcoin has been around with us since, time immemorial, and it currently remains one of the trading platforms. I mean, one of the currencies being traded around the world. Ukraine, they're using Bitcoin as their means of, transaction, getting aid. The USA using
we're not talking about the world. I'm talking about in the country. And
of course, I do get your point. But when it comes to Bitcoin, we do know that it's being traded in Ghana as we speak. We're having specific platforms like Binance, not to mention the name for promotional purposes, but they remain a very key frontier when it comes to the transactions of all this. But it brings me to my question, because economists and fintechs are equally concerned about Ghana losing out from this burgeoning market. From your perspective as an IT consultant, even though you're cautious about the risks, do you think that we might be losing out of the bigger picture?
It depends on how we shape our activities. For instance, now Ghana is moving into the digitization arena. Hence, if we empower the fintech with most of the most of the digitization activities, we aren't going to lose, especially the inclusion of internet access. But then we need to extend internet access to get more people onto the fintech activities. That people in the rural areas can all involve themselves into the digitization, because it's difficult where there's no internet access to have such activities ongoing. Because if they are in the villages without internet access, how do they access mobile money? It makes it difficult. And so when we have inclusion, digital inclusion across the country, I'm not sure we are going to move out. We will still be within it. China is not purposely in cryptocurrency, but they are using digital currency. Hence, you can even do payment on Alipay with their digital cash. They are still within it, but they are trading cautiously because of the security and privacy surrounding the cryptocurrency activity.
Great. We're grateful that you could join us with your thoughts. Dr. Edward Boahin, an IC consultant there. You're still watching Prime Business with me, Charles Ayitey. Let's move on. Dean of the Law School at the University of Professional Studies in Accra, Professor Kofi Abochi says the African Continental Free Trade Area should improve its transparency in its transactions. Now, such a move, he claims, will build on and speed up the implementation of the continental frameworks and other comparable projects. He spoke to Joy Business at an international lecture on dispute settlement and the AfTA and the new African legal market. We have more in this report.
According to Professor Abochi, the African Continental Free Trade Area should be resolute in strengthening its values of transparency. This, he believes, will support the structures and systems of the AfCFTA in the decisions with respect to dispute settlement and the new African legal market.
But I guess the point is, in any trading regime, what sustains the regime is a sense of fairness and transparency, a sense of members that they are gaining equally, and that there's egalitarian treatment of all members. And so particularly in respect of disputes. Now, disputes are going to come. So the challenge really is how you resolve the disputes. So in terms of disputes and the management of dispute, transparency is a fundamental factor. It's a fundamental value. And so the suggestion is that the AfCFTA will be better served if they promote that. Now, significantly, the AfCFTA itself has adopted transparency as one of its pivotal values. So the suggestion is that the AfCFTA should actually move to bolster the values of transparency by ensuring that the structures and systems and processes that are employed are open, they're transparent, and that parties have an opportunity to not only challenge but verify and review things in case they have, difficulties or challenges with some of the decisions of the Dispute Settlement Board.
Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors, Senyor Hosi, explained that the lack of an independent legal system under the AfCFTA will restrain investor confidence.
So you definitely need a lot more confidence in the existing structure. The independence of the structure is very important. The credibility of that structure is equally important. It's quite refreshing seeing the number of mediation opportunities and consultations that exist, but really looking at the structure that requires quite some dependence on governments. These are political, partisan-led governments trying to now enforce or to rather be the ones only with capacity or locus to trigger a resolution at some level of this dispute resolution system is quite scary. So you can imagine if I'm a Ghanaian businessman and I'm not seen as a friend of the government of the time in a highly polarized environment that we find ourselves today, what will become of my economic interests as a Ghanaian? That could pose major challenges for me. And when people see this risk, it will actually inhibit investments or the success of AfTA. So we need to look at that. We need to have a system, a dispute resolution system, a judicial system that engenders a lot more confidence. And that system is not well served if it's so heavily dependent on partisan politicians and their governments.
Dispute settlement mechanism, according to AfCFTA, shall preserve the rights and obligations of state parties under the agreement and clarify the existing provisions of the agreement.
Well, that'll be all for Prime Business, but I'll leave you with international business news, after which we have Prime Sports with Oreko Ampofo. Do stay with Joy News.